Welcome back to Season 6 of Time to Change.
We have some amazing conversations lined up from people doing the work. I'm excited for those and the change that it'll hopefully spark.
I can't wait to jump in. So let's get started. Welcome back to Time to Change. I am Jason Forehand, and this guy right over here is
Dom Jones.
We are here for Kaitlyn Rios in the house today. So glad to have you. She is incredible. She is the Vice President of Clinical Business Development in the wound care industry, and she is the founder of facedwithgrace.org. And she also is a co-author on Shattering Stereotypes. That's that cute, that lovely book she's holding right there. And then right above Dom's left shoulder, if you scan that QR code, you will be taken straight to that lovely book that Kaitlyn just showed you. But Kaitlyn, the first thing I want to, thank you for being on the show. Thank you so much for being here. Sorry that we had a little technical difficulty in the beginning, but appreciate you being here. We would love to we'd love to dive into as much as possible. But first, if you could tell people a little bit about yourself, and then we're going to talk about Faced with Grace.
Sure thing. Yeah. So I am a physical therapist by trade and a certified wound specialist. So I've been in the wound care industry for roughly 10-ish years. That started as my passion. And as I've gone throughout my career, I've faced many different situations that have shifted my passions. Let's just put it that way. I encountered many workplaces, no matter the setting throughout the healthcare world, where the workplace itself was really just not healthy. I had a lot of different toxic dynamics that I was navigating, and kind of coming out of the other side of that is what prompted me to start Faced with Grace.
Faced with Grace is an amazing nonprofit organization. Let's talk about that and tell people what you do.
Sure thing. So Faced with Grace is an organization aimed at eradicating workplace toxicity. We do it 3 different ways. So the first is helping women who are actually in the thick of a toxic workplace. We're helping them with our open eyes, open minds, open hearts navigation framework to help them get through that using what I like to call motivational mentorship. So it's kind of like a blend of coaching and cheerleading all in one. And then after they've kind of come out of that phase of the workforce, we also offer leadership development training using our Pearl leadership methodology. And then taking both of those things and paying it forward in hopes of changing the future and breaking chains. We teach young women to recognize the signs of a toxic workplace. We teach them healthy culture development tools and leadership development skills.
Wow.
I absolutely love that.
Yeah.
I could tell, Kaitlyn, based on your pause earlier, there were some stories behind the impetus of starting this organization, but I'll spare you because I don't know if you want to divulge all of that. But something really important that you said, you teach individuals how to recognize the signs of toxicity in the workplace.
Absolutely.
This is a hot button issue. And I have seen so many perspectives where people address the symptoms of a toxic work environment. I'm curious if you wouldn't mind just sharing from your point of view, how do you teach others to recognize whether or not they're in a toxic environment? What are some of those telltale signs?
Yeah. So, we have a whole checklist of them that I can actually share with you all to share with your listeners if you'd like. But really, I think a lot of it comes down to the way that you feel when you wake up in the morning and you have to go to work, whether you're physically going into work or, checking in via a computer, like many of us do these days. I think that our gut tells us so much about the way a workforce is really treating us, the way we feel, the way we thrive or don't feel good, right? It's that balance and really being able to listen to that inner voice and that gut reaction to all the things going on around us. Some of the things, though, in our red flags checklist are, psychological safety. Do you feel safe at work to raise an issue or escalate a problem or a concern? Are you listened to, or are you dismissed when you bring problems up? You know, some of the microaggressions that we face when we're in the workforce. It could be backhanded comments. It could be, you know, throwing people under the bus in a meeting, right? It's just the unhealthy things that give you that kind of cringe feel are some of those things that we list in that checklist. Just to your point there, those microaggressions that we talk about and the things that these women are going through, it's the kind of stuff that if you were to escalate it or raise a concern about it every single time it happened, people would look at you like you were an absolute idiot. Like, come on, grow up, get over yourself. It's not a big deal, right? But that's why I always tell women that I'm working with to write it down. Write down every single time something gut punches you at work, whether it's small and whether you feel like it's somewhat insignificant at the moment. If you start seeing the pattern of those things building and building and building over time, you're right, Jason. Like, it's going to chip away at your spirit. It's going to chip away at your motivation to work, your engagement in a company, and your will to be there.
I love the approach that you're taking with first teaching the individuals how to recognize what's happening in these environments. And then you mentioned, Kaitlyn, that branches into some leadership development as well. So I love the overall model. What made you structure this as a nonprofit organization? Is there something behind that in your intent with what you wanted to accomplish?
I mean, I think for me at the end of the day, like, this isn't some money-making scheme, right? I'm in this to help people. Yes, there are some deep, dark secrets, and not secrets, but stories that, you know, I literally hit some of the lowest points of my life because of the effects of toxic workplaces and the dynamics that existed in those places. And so really my goal in all of this is not to make a boatload of money off of it. Sure, I would love to make money. That'd be wonderful. But at the end of the day, I just want to help women not have to walk through this alone the way I did. Looking back at those times in my life, I was extremely alone, and I have a wonderful village support system. You know what I mean? But because I thought I was crazy and I thought it was just me, and I thought, oh, this is just how it goes when you're in leadership, I didn't voice any of it to the people around me. I didn't talk about it. I didn't let it show that it was bothering me or eating away at me or making me lose insane amounts of weight and not eating and not sleeping. You know, I just didn't go there. And so the whole nonprofit aspect of it is to keep this ball rolling and to keep the money paid forward for as long as I can, so that we can help as many women as possible.
But I want to make sure before we go that we remind people that you are part of this incredible book, and it's Dr. Iris Garner.
Yes.
So you've got the book right there. They can scan that QR code above Dom's left shoulder, and they can get a copy for themselves. How did you meet Dr. Garner, and why this book?
So I met Dr. Garner. I meet most people via LinkedIn, honestly, but I did meet her via LinkedIn. I actually interviewed with her for a job with T-Mobile. She runs T-Mobile, or she works in the T-Mobile education division, and there was kind of a unique role that I was like maybe a fit for. Turns out we were just meant to cross paths because she's an amazing human, and I don't know, she championed me to write this book, though, or to write this chapter in this book. And I have met so many incredible humans through this process of launching. Their stories are also in this book. So you're not only getting my cool backstory, but everyone else's that are included. But yeah, if you're not already following Dr. Iris Garner, go follow her because she is a phenomenal human.
We can't thank you enough for spending some time with us today, coming in the house with Dom and I, and making a point of telling us about your story a little bit. And we know that you've got a lot more to tell. We're going to get people connected with you and what you're doing with Faced with Grace, and get some people to purchase that book from you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being on Time to Change. I'm chasing Forehand.
Hey, and I'm Chasen's handsome cousin, Dom Jones.
And we'll catch you next time.